Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about how to design a finite automat. Let's start. In order to design a finite automat, first thing to do is to put yourself in the place of the machine you are trying to design. Then all you have to do is to see how you would go about performing the machine task. Since we are using those machines to recognize a language, we are going to take strings as our input. And at the end, we are going to decide whether the input belongs to our language or not. Let's write a string for illustration purpose. You will get to see the symbol in the string one by one, from the left side to the right side. Therefore, leftmost one is the first and the rightmost one is the last symbol. After each symbol, we should decide whether the string read so far is in the language. And we are doing that by keeping the specific information for each state of the machine. So, each state behaves like a memory unit, which keeps specific information. First of all, we should determine each specific information about the machine. For instance, if our machine is supposed to accept a string, if it has odd number of ones in it, then our string can have either an odd or even number of ones. So we have two possible states for our machine. So, in our example, each string should have an odd number of ones. The first thing to ask is, what are the possible states for our example? The first possibility is even number of ones. And the second possibility is odd number of ones. One state can be used to indicate the number of ones since so far is even. Then another state can be used to show the number of ones is odd, for our example. Let's assign each of the states a label. Let's say the first one is Q even and the second one is Q odd. Now that we have written all the possible states that our machine can be in, we need to assign the transitions. As we mentioned in our previous lectures, transition shows how to go from one possibility to another one upon reading the next symbol. So, transitions tell how the possibilities rearrange. In order to write transitions, my advice is that you should first write the transition diagram. Let's write a transition diagram for our example. Q even, Q odd, zero and 1. As an initial state, we will be at the state of Q even because zero number of ones is also an even number. If we are at Q even and we get 0 as an input, then we will stay at Q even because it doesn't affect our condition. It will stay at the current state. If we get 1 when we are at Q even, then we should go to Q odd. Why? Because 2n plus 1 is an odd number. If we are at Q odd and we get 0 as an input, it doesn't affect. So we will stay at our current state, which is Q odd. But if we are at Q odd and we get 1 as an input, then we will go to the state of Q even. Why? Because 2n plus 1 plus 1, which is 2n plus 1, is an even number. Finally, we should put the initial state and the final state. And we can indicate them in our transition diagram as follows. Q even is the starting state, So we can indicate it as an arrow. Since our question requires a string to have an odd number of ones, our final state should be Q odd. After writing the transition diagram, we can now draw the state diagram. It will be much more easy when we write the transition diagram first. So, as we stated before, our initial state is Q even. It is the starting state, and our final state is, our final state is Q odd. And we can indicate that with a double circle. And we can go through the transition diagram. If we get 0 as an input, we will stay at Q even. But if we get 1 as an input, we go to Q odd. Now, do the same thing for Q odd. If we are at Q odd and we get 0 as an input, we will stay at Q odd. But if we get 1 as an input, we will return Q even. And that's all. This is the state diagram for our finite state machine. That's all for this lecture today. See you in the next lecture. Bye.